Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jayden. I'm a barista here at Penstock Coffee and Roastery, and I'm actually in the roastery today to talk a little bit about one of our new coffees coming out called Las Flores. It's a really fun, exciting, refreshing coffee brought to us from the farm Finca Las Flores, which is in Huila, Colombia. And this was brought to us by the Equation Neighbors and Crops program, which is a program that takes smaller farms and their coffees and showcases them internationally. This coffee here was brought to us by a farm that is now specialized in experimental processing. And for this coffee went through a thermal shock wash process, which is something I'll touch on a little bit further down the line, because I want to get into more of how we like to brew over here at the cafe. First things first, I have 19 grams of coffee dosed out, already ready to grind. This is ground at close to a medium fine setting. And we're going to be brewing it on our V60 here. And the reason why we chose the V60 for this specific coffee is because this coffee is heavily processed. So what that means is if we use something like a flat bottom brewer, you're gonna get a little bit of a muddled taste. I'm pushing for a little bit more clarity for this type of coffee we have. So like I said, I have 19 grams already dosed, and we're gonna be pushing it to a 320 gram yield, which is about a 1 to 17 ratio. It's closer to 1 to 16.8, but we'll round up just for the video purpose. I've already pre-washed my filter here, so I'm gonna go ahead and dose this coffee into the V60. And I'm gonna start this off with a 50 gram bloom for about 45 seconds. So I'm gonna go in a nice concentric motion just to saturate all of the grounds. I'm gonna stop here. And I'm just gonna let this coffee bloom for about 45 seconds or so. And then we're only gonna be doing 2 pours for this specific type of coffee. And the reason for that is for 2 things. Because it is heavily processed, it is very easy to over agitate and then over extract the coffee, resulting in a little bit of a muddled flavor. So we're gonna go down to 2 pours to reduce the amount of agitation that we're introducing. And it's also a little bit more denser of a bean. Because of that, when you do grind it, it's gonna naturally produce a little bit more fines. And we want to limit that possibility of interrupting our brew and our drawdown while we brew the coffee. So we're at 45 seconds here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour 135 grams, bring it to a 185 gram yield. And like I said, I'm going in nice concentric circles until we hit our target yield. All right, so we're now at 185 at a minute and 5 seconds. I'm gonna let it draw down just for about 10 seconds or so before I do our last and final pour. So we're at about a minute 15, which is where I'm gonna go for a target yield of 320 now. Once again, in concentric circles. And I'm pouring about 1 inch or 2 above the bed of the coffee, just so that way we don't agitate it too much. Like I said before, we don't wanna kick up those fines that this coffee naturally produces. I'm gonna give it a little bit of agitation just to center the bed and make sure I have a nice even level surface throughout the rest of the drawdown. Now going back to the coffee, like I said before, this is a little bit more of a newer experimental process called the thermal shock wash. And basically what that means is that they take the coffee inside of its cherry and they let it ferment for a little bit before they then flash shock heat it with hot water. And basically what that does is during the fermentation process, you are introducing some enzymatic compounds and some organisms that can be controlled a little bit with temperature, and that's where the thermal shock comes in. Because these organisms and compounds are influenced by temperature, producers and processors can then use the water temperature to sort of alter the way the coffee is going to taste to their own standards. And with the thermal shock wash method that we have here, it's then gonna create a nice, refreshing floral cup, some notes of kiwi in there that we really like and enjoy here at Penstock. And we're gonna get here just about a drawdown time, close to 3 minutes or so. It is a little bit on the longer side, but like we said, that's just because this coffee does produce more fines. So we compensate by doing that 2 pour method that we mentioned before. And we're just about finished drawing down here. I'm gonna go ahead, take off the brewer here. And we had a drawdown time of just about 3 minutes, which is exactly what we're looking for. Like I said, that's a really good coffee. It's super floral, it's very aromatic. It's one of our coffees that's coming out soon. So feel free to follow our brewing tutorial. Feel free to try your own and play around with it. Get your own bag. taste it, let us know how it is.